Hello everyone, I'm the storyteller and I'm here to help you today. I know you use this video to fall asleep, so before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from and what time are you watching now? Get comfortable and relax.
The Black Spiral. The town of Black Hollow, just a stone's throw from Bangor, was the kind of place where nothing ever happened. The kind of place where folks waved at each other from their porches, where the diner served the same blueberry pie it had for 50 years, and where the most exciting thing to happen in a decade was the annual pumpkin festival. But all that changed the day the construction crew broke ground on the new highway extension. It started with a sinkhole. A yawning, jagged mouth in the earth that swallowed two bulldozers and a backhoe before anyone could blink. The crew foreman, a grizzled man named Hank Greeley, peered over the edge and saw something that made his blood run cold, a spiral staircase, carved from black stone, descending into the earth. It was old, older than anything Hank had ever seen, and it seemed to go on forever. The crew called in an engineer, a woman named Dr. Ellen Marsh. She was a no-nonsense type, with a sharp mind and a sharper tongue. She didn't believe in ghosts, gods, or anything that couldn't be explained by science. But even she had to admit, the staircase was strange. The stone was smooth, almost glassy, and cold to the touch, even in the summer heat. And when she shone her flashlight down the steps, the beam seemed to get swallowed up after a few feet, as if the darkness itself was alive. Probably some old mining shaft, she muttered, though she didn't believe it. Mining shafts didn't have staircases like this. The first man to go down was a laborer named Pete. He was young, cocky, and eager to prove himself. "I'll be back before lunch," he said, grinning as he strapped on a headlamp. But lunch came and went, and Pete didn't return. By nightfall, the crew was panicking. They called the police, who sent down a search team. The team didn't come back either. That's when the whispers started. Old-timers in Black Hollow began to talk about the Black Spiral, a legend from the town's early days. They said it was a gateway to the birthplace of an ancient god, a being that slept deep beneath the earth. A cult had worshipped it once, offering sacrifices to keep it at bay. But the cult had vanished decades ago, and most people thought the story was just that, a story. Ellen didn't believe in legends, but she couldn't ignore the facts. People were disappearing. And the staircase, it was calling to her. She could feel it, a low hum in the back of her skull, like a song she couldn't quite hear. Against her better judgment, she decided to go down herself. The air grew colder with every step. The walls of the staircase were smooth and featureless, but Ellen swore she could see shapes moving in the stone, just out of the corner of her eye. The hum grew louder, vibrating in her teeth and bones. She counted the steps, 100, 200, 300, but the staircase never ended. And then she saw the light. It was faint at first, a sickly green glow coming from below. As she descended, the light grew brighter, illuminating the walls. That's when she saw the carvings. They were ancient, twisted things, figures with too many limbs, eyes where they shouldn't be, mouths stretched in silent screams. The hum was deafening now, and Ellen realized it wasn't a hum at all. It was a voice, whispering words she couldn't understand. She wanted to turn back, but her legs kept moving, carrying her deeper and deeper. The light was blinding now, and the air was thick with the smell of rot and sulfur. And then she saw it, the bottom of the staircase. It opened into a cavern, vast and impossibly old. The walls pulsed with the same green light, and the floor was covered in bones, human bones. At the center of the cavern was a pit, a yawning void that seemed to go on forever. And standing at the edge of the pit was Pete. He was different. His skin was pale, almost translucent, and his eyes were black as coal. He turned to Ellen and smiled, a smile that stretched too wide, showing too many teeth. "It's waiting for you," he said, his voice echoing in her mind. Ellen tried to run, but her body wouldn't obey. She could feel it now, the thing in the pit. It was ancient, older than time itself, and it was hungry. It reached for her, not with hands but with something worse, something she couldn't see but could feel, cold and slimy against her skin. The last thing she saw before the darkness took her was the spiral, carved into the wall above the pit. It was the same shape as the staircase, the same shape as the thing in the pit. And she realized, too late, that it wasn't a staircase at all. It was an invitation. Back in Black Hollow, the sinkhole was sealed, the highway rerouted. The town went back to its quiet ways, and the legend of the black spiral faded into memory. But sometimes, late at night, the townsfolk would hear a low hum, like a song they couldn't quite hear. And if they listened too long, they'd find themselves walking toward the woods, toward the old construction site, toward the spiral. Because it was still there, waiting. And it was always hungry. The end.